Good evening, sim racing fans across the globe, and welcome to LSRTV, the voice of sim racing, kicking off another Wednesday night of racing action. Tonight from the Iowa Speedway, the Hawkeye State, it is time for another round of the RSR Outlaw Truck Series presented by Hippie's Paint Shop here on LSRTV. Jacob Seal and Andy Kessler, Brian Macklin, back with you in the Inside Sim Racing broadcast tower as we get set to roll. And Andy, trucks, Iowa, and my word for the night, calamity.
Oh, it can be. Most definitely can be. Quite an interesting track. Totally two different ends of the spectrum as far as the racing goes. That turn 1 and 2 is a little bit flatter, a little bit of a sharper turn than 3 and 4. Lots of bumps on that inside lane, too. So you're going to be seeing some guys, pretty much the fast lane is going to be about that second groove up on that turn 1 and 2. But then on the way top around the wall, it's going to be the fast lane in 3 and 4. I love this track. It's so unique. And then you throw in the trucks and a bunch of hungry guys looking for some wins. And, man, you're in for an awesome event here tonight.
I think it's going to be fun, Brian. The short tracks are always interesting, but of all the short tracks, I think this may be the closest to what you'd call a driver's track here for race 4 of 10 this season. It's going to be a lot of fun to watch. I'm really excited about it.
Oh man, this is my favorite track on the iRacing service. I love coming to this track and racing on it. I'm really excited to get to sit here in the broadcast booth and call this race tonight. This is, like you said, it is a driver's track because there's so many different things that you can do here. Down in turns 1 and 2, like Andy said, you've got the bumps that you've got to work around. You can move around down there in 1 and 2. You don't have to run the middle groove. You don't have to run the bottom groove. You can make different things work there. You might actually even see the third groove work in a little bit once the tires fall off some. And then down in turn 3, you have the dreaded slider B slid move that we're probably going to see on more than one occasion here tonight, and that's where a guy is trying to make a pass on the person in front of him, and he dives into the corner and tries to slide up in front of that guy and block his momentum on the corner exit. You're going to see a lot of exciting racing when it comes to that. It's also going to cause some chaos, and we're probably going to see a caution or two as a result of it.
Taking a look at the point standings now, and did I hear slide or be slid, Brian?
Yes, you did. Slider be slid. You're going to see it a lot tonight.
Oh boy, Daniel Eberhardt has been the story across both of the RSR Winter Series so far. He's the winner of the most recent Outlaw Truck event from Texas. Do we see Andy Eberhardt take the win again tonight?
Well, he was fast here in the Icebreaker Series a few weeks ago, so it would not surprise me the way he's had this season. A couple races just couldn't get the finish he wanted, like we saw Monday night, actually, for Eberhardt getting in an accident. He was probably the fastest car on the track at Charlotte, but unfortunately, an accident took him out early. And same thing here. I expect to see him fast here. I expect to see him up towards the front and hopefully leading a lot of laps and possibly getting another win for himself. He was 6th in practice here early on in the evening. Hasn't yet taken a qualifying lap, so I'm sure we'll see him up towards the front there, and I definitely expect to see Eberhardt contending for the win here.
Chad Coleman, the championship leader by 4 points over a tie for second between Chad Cole and rookie Ross Cato. Cole, the only driver in the top 3 with a victory so far, but Coleman's been impressive, Brian. An average finish of 5th, the only driver with an average finish through the first 3 races with an average finish inside the top 5. I mean, this is a driver that we know very, very well around the RSR circuit and one who's not afraid to get aggressive to make it happen.
Yeah, Chad Cole is one of the best out here. I've raced with him for a lot of years, and he may not always show the most speed out of all the drivers on the track, but he's the most consistent. He's essentially kind of like the Matt Kenseth of RSR in my eyes, taking away the whole Joey Logano incident. He's just consistent week in and week out. He hits his marks. He does everything right, and he ends up finishing where he needs to finish to put himself in a position to win the championship. And he's that good. I mean, he's always right there. Again, he may not have the speed in qualifying as we're actually looking at it right now. He's sitting 7th with a 23.201. That's about a tenth and a half off the pole. But I guarantee you by the end of the night, you're going to see him up there racing for the lead and probably racing for the win.
Yeah, he is one of those guys, obviously the all-time leader in wins in RSR. And Chad Cole, it's great to see him back on the track, kind of been out of it for the last couple of seasons, and to see him come back and do as well as he has that quickly back, it's just amazing to see. And obviously, it's like it's like riding a bike; you never forget how to. And for Chad Cole to continue the momentum he's on in the Winter Series here, I definitely, like Brian just said, expect to see him up front battling for the win.
So we wind down qualifying here, and I've been impressed, Andy, with the rookie, Ross Cato, 3rd in points, 4 out of the championship lead right now. I mean, does he have the longevity to hang tough through these next 7 races, do you think?
Well, I've had the opportunity to watch Ross Cato over the years, over probably the past 3 years, driving a few different series. And he has definitely been one of those drivers, probably like a mid-pack driver years ago. And he's definitely gotten better over the years. And I think working with a lot of different drivers in different leagues, and he's gotten the consistency. He's kind of figured out how to conserve his tires over long runs. So, listen, it's all about racing luck too, and being in the right position at the right time. And so far, he's done a great job at it in the Winter Series. Qualifying pretty decent, and then pretty much staying out of trouble. And that's exactly what he's got to do to stay up there. And I do think that he's at the point in his iRacing career where these consistent finishes are gonna give him the opportunity to win championships.
Yeah, and as qualifying is getting near to the end, we see Scott Simley right now is on the provisional pole. He has a 23.072. These drivers get a 2-lap single car qualifying run, so I don't think you're going to see anybody else jump up there. There is a few drivers that have not qualified yet. Anthony DeBarro is one of those drivers who was actually fastest in practice. He's running out of time, though. They have less than a minute now before qualifying is going to conclude. So if he's going to put up a lap, he's going to need to do it in a hurry. So right now, Scott Simley is on the pole, followed by CJ LeVere, Chad Coleman, Stefan Marinak, and Matt Lacrosse, your top 5. And Andy, this is going to be a wild race. I'm trying to figure out what the caution number is going to be. I'm going to go with at least 7 cautions. What's your pick?
You know what? Honestly, that's probably a good number to pick an over with. We saw a ton of them a few weeks ago with the Icebreaker series. Unfortunate, it just seemed like guys pretty much drove over their head. But we're going to take this moment, though, to send it trackside, get tonight's opening ceremonies gone away with our national anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was
Welcome back here topside as we get set to kick things off tonight here at the Iowa Speedway, and we're going to take you through the LSRTV starting grid and a pair of teammates on the front row for tonight's event from the Iowa Speedway. 125 laps, and we put Scott Simley in the 68 truck on the pole. Won the season opener at Daytona. Alongside him, the number 4, CJ LeVert. Missed it by 1,000th of a second.
That's pretty close. Right just behind him, starting on the inside of row number 2, is the number 20 of Chad Coleman, and to his outside is the 96 of Stefan Marinak with a 23, 149.
Starting in the 5th position, Matt Lacrosse, and to his outside is Aaron Bennett driving the number 33 machine.
Chad Cole, the perennial contender, winner, champion. The 8 truck starts 7th. Brian Harvey, RSR veteran, rolls 8th tonight.
That 9th spot's going to go to the 24 of Mike Kelly outside of row number 5, the most recent RSR Full Throttle Cup Series champion, Dwayne Vincent.
Corbin Hemstreet's going to start in the 11th position, and to his outside, a veteran of RSR, Doug Ross, starts P12.
Trucks start to roll. Ross Cato, the raging rookie, rolls 13th. Mark Bratcher, 14th.
15th will go to Bobby Wetzel. David Camara in the 72 will start 16th.
Scott Bolster sits 17th starting off here tonight. Travis Burke, too, is going to start on his outside in P18.
J.R. Johnson and Christopher Gore in row 10. They round out your top 20. The rest of the starting grid going to roll on your screen right now. And before we go green, Andy, let's see if we can't dial up one of the faces that's been a contender real quick. See if we can't chat with Daniel Eberhardt for just a moment.
Hello?
Daniel Eberhardt, this is Andy Kessler up in the booth. You got a copy?
Oh, yes, sir.
Well, you've had quite an amazing rookie season here in the Winter Series, both in the Icebreaker and the Outlaw Truck Series. What's it going to take for you to get up front here? Obviously, a qualifying effort. Looks like you kind of wanted to start in the back there to avoid some mayhem. What's your strategy for this race?
Well, I really didn't want to start back here. But, yeah, I'm going to just take it easy. I don't know what to expect. I hate this track. It's the worst track I've ever had on this game. I just hate it.
Well, I've seen you have a lot of speed over the course of some races here in the past, so I'm sure the way your season's going, you'll figure it out.
Pretty funny.
10-4. We'll try to.
We'll let you get to it. Best of luck.
Thank you.
Coming to green flag here tonight, and we want to thank you all for tuning in tonight on LSR TV. Again, Scott Simley, CJ LeVert, going to be the 2 faces to lead you to the green flag. The pace car is gone. We are ready to rock and roll tonight. Green flag in the air. We are underway here from the Iowa Speedway, and off and running. Scott Simley leads the field to turn 1.
Yeah, you got a pretty good jump right there. And look at the 20 of Chad Coleman, the points leader, now looking to the inside for the race lead off of turn number 2. He had a great restart right now. The problem is he's going to be on that bottom side. Brian, we can see that work in the first few laps as the tires are still pretty fresh. Right there, obviously didn't work for Chad Coleman, as now he's got pressure from CJ LeVert now into turn 1.
Yeah, you can make it work, but it's very difficult. Sometimes you have to take your time, and we see Chad Coleman there. I think he was just being patient. If that was the last restart of the race, you're going to see him drive in there a lot harder and make that inside line work. I think he was taking his time right there. But, yeah, you can make that inside line work. You just have to be very careful and make sure you don't slide up into the truck on the outside when you're trying to get by him. We got a really good battle here. 4th second, the number 4 machine of CJ LeVert just took back that 2nd position from Chad Coleman. He slots into the 2nd position. Now he's going to set his sights on the race leader and see if he can't run him down.
He's trying to run him down. He's not been able to make a lot of tracks right now, and in fact, the top 5, 6 make that 7 trucks run exactly where they've started. Simley, LeVert, Coleman, Marinak, Lacrosse, Aaron Bennett, Chad Cole. First change for position has come from 8th, and in fact, the truck that's moved up to 9th making some moves early. How about the 41 of Corbin Hemstreet, Andy? Up 2 positions already. We're working lap number 4 to completion right now. Hemstreet, though, on the move.
We have a big wreck on the front straightaway. Daniel Eberhardt was caught up in it. We were just talking to him before we went back green. It doesn't look like there's a lot of damage on the truck. He just got off the corner. There was a wreck in front of him, and he slid sideways to avoid it. The number 90 machine of Ross Cato, I believe he's one of our championship contenders. He's also involved in this wreck. I believe he's the one that started it.
It looked like the 17, Bobby Wetzel, actually got loose, almost like a self-spin, and everybody behind him checked up. It looked like Ross Cato was right in the middle of that, and just some contact made by the cars. It doesn't look like too much damage to those vehicles, so maybe a little bit of tape, maybe a little bit of a hammer action down on pit road. But being a short track, the air package that these guys will have on the trucks, as far as it shouldn't make too much of a difference. The real main thing is making sure they don't knock the toe out of these things.
So under caution already at lap number 6. A couple of guys trying to fake down to pit road. No dice, though, against Scott Simley, leading all 6 of these laps from the pole so far. They get to know Newton 125 here at the Iowa Speedway. And again, couple of guys on the move early, couple of guys going the wrong direction early. One guy that really has made some moves early on, I was going to get ready to say, was the 84 of Jimmy North. Had actually come across the stripe last time by, started 27th up to 17th, drops to 20th here on timing and scoring this time around. But Jimmy likes this track, Brian, and he's on pit road, probably trying to get that truck a little bit happier here for later in the run, but I know he likes this track.
Yeah, for these guys in the back like Jimmy North, it wasn't a bad call to come to pit road, get some tires, and maybe you can take advantage of them and get some track position before the next time you have to be down on pit road. I like this call. Jimmy is really consistent as well. He doesn't always have the speed, but he's definitely one of the more consistent drivers out there, and he's probably going to end up inside the top 15 before long, maybe up into the top 10, and looking forward to seeing what he can do with these guys. When he doesn't get caught up in somebody else's mess, that's when he seems to have the best runs. He just has a lot of bad luck a lot of times where he gets caught up in something else, and unfortunately that's part of racing, but it seems like he's always drawn to that mess.
Yeah, you talk about, we were talking about just before the break, there's Corbin Hemstreet, and you talk about that whole team, the Boomtown Sim guys, and the Full Throttle Cup Series had a fantastic run for all 4 of those guys, and making the chase, getting in there and winning a bunch of races. I mean, they had a fantastic season. Then we come into the Winter Series. It just seems like none of these guys can really catch a break until Monday night. Mitch Rollo ended up pulling that thing into victory lane at Charlotte, which was much overdue for him at Charlotte. But up until that point, this Winter Series, in both the trucks and the Xfinity cars, it has been real tough on these guys. So I know Corbin Hemstreet's looking for a solid run here tonight.
Yeah, he is among several drivers that are looking for a solid run. Looks like we're about, field looks ready to double up as we get set to go back underway. However, the lights are going to remain on, so we will circulate around at least 2 more times before we get back underway. And want to spotlight a driver who is starting to work his way up very nicely through the field in the early going. I mean, he only had about 6 laps to do it, but how about the driver sitting 12th in that 40 truck? Scott Bolster doing a nice job, one of the biggest movers early on in this race.
Yeah, Scott Bolster obviously making up about 5 positions there. Just behind him, too, the 73 of Donovan Johns, also making a pretty good run so far. 8 spots for him up into the 13th spot. So, yeah, a few guys making a move up towards the front, but a bunch of guys that were in the top 10 actually sliding back a little bit. Brian Harvey, and then, of course, Dwayne Vincent there started 10th, now sits 14th. So, a little bit of movement, but like you said right before the caution, the top 7 run exactly how they started the race. So a pretty interesting little tidbit right there. Take note to that because you probably won't see that again for a long time.
Now, lights out. We're going to go green flag racing next time by. Brian, who do you like in the early goings to make some moves if we can get a decent green flag run going here?
Well, I'm interested to see what the guy that was fastest in practice is able to do, and that's Anthony DeBarro. He started back in the 25th position. He's worked his way up to 15th already, and if he can get a long green flag run, I expect to see him up inside the top 5, battling for this race win. He's just going to need a little bit of help, and he's going to have to really work hard to get by these guys in the early stages.
Working down the back straightaway into turn number 3, it's going to be Scott Simley and CJ LeVere on the front row for this restart, just as they were for the initials. 10 laps of 125 in the record books tonight. Still a long way to go here at Iowa as the field works into turn number 4, and the American Childhood Cancer Organization pace car heads for pit road. Field in the hands of Scott Simley, who does not get a good restart. CJ LeVere going to jump out to the point at the start-finish line. They'll give it to Simley by about 1,000th of a second, but they're wheel-to-wheel in turn 1.
Yeah, great battle for that top spot right now with CJ LeVere on the outside. That's probably the preferred line that you're going to see over the course of the night right now. But with fresh tires and new tires, you'll see. Oh, and it looks like the 33 having some connection issues. Almost looked like he was going into the wall there. But Scott Simley able to hang on to that top spot for now. But here comes the number 20, Chad Coleman, the point leader.
Trouble on the racetrack. Caution going to fly at lap number 12. Trying to get a read. We thought it was going to be the 33 of Aaron Bennett, Andy. Not the case.
No, it wasn't. I'm actually looking. I don't know if Brian got a better view of it, but it looked like about 3 or 4 trucks actually got into that one there.
Yeah, Dwayne Vincent actually was the initial truck that went around right there. He went off into turn number 1. You're seeing the replay now. He got turned by, I believe that's the number 74 machine right behind him. Check that. We'll get a number on that in just a second. But Dwayne Vincent went around in turn 1. He was unable to keep it out of the door, or keep his door out of the truck that hit him. That was the 73 machine of Donovan Johns that turned him going off into turn 1. So minimal contact for Dwayne. He's going to have a little bit of damage, but not that bad. I think he'll be all right.
Under caution, 13 of 125 complete, and we're going to take this opportunity to step aside here on LSR TV. Scott Simley has led all the laps so far, and we're under our second Service Master Clean Caution of the night. From Iowa Speedway, you're watching coverage of the RSR Outlaw Truck Series on LSR TV, the voice of sim racing.
Once its sights are set, nothing can stop the ferocious lion from capturing its prey. Relying on keen senses, lions search patiently before striking with alarming speed. Wait for it. Gotcha, Mr. Piece of Rubbish. He is truly the master of his environment. Do good, be a lion.
Our research shows drivers won a league with no
cheating,
kids wrecking me,
admin favoritism, multiple fast repairs,
intentional wrecks.
Drivers we interviewed also won a league with
clean competitive racing, clear-cut rules,
enjoys having all the drivers,
a full field of drivers,
end-of-year cash purse,
follows the rules on a constant basis.
At Domino's TYJ Racing, we listened to the drivers and created a league with high integrity and professionalism, just like Domino's Pizza has maintained for the last 55 years. Claim your share of the over $3,000 purse by applying today at Domino'sTYJRacing.com for one of the few remaining Cup car rides or your seat in our action-packed truck series.
Yo, I dropped the 88. Ricky Bobby, shake and bake, sleeping on it, should've stayed awake, huh?
We're back here live at Iowa Speedway for the Outlaw Truck Series race number 4 of this winter series, and the field getting set to get back racing right now. Top 5. That's exactly how they started in the race. Scott Simley, Chad Coleman, CJ LeVere in that 3rd spot. Stefan Marinax is 4th, and Matt Lacrosse going to restart in that 5th spot.
And as we welcome you into the Inside Sim Racing broadcast tower, still a long way to go in this RSR Outlaw Truck Series event. Jacob Seelman, Andy Kessler, Brian Macklin with you on the call tonight. Lights going off on the pace car. Scott Simley has led every one of 16 laps that we have completed so far, though I think on this restart he may get a bit of a challenge from that 20 truck on the outside. Chad Coleman knows how to get it done, Brian. He's not afraid to mix it up, and he likes being on the front row for these restarts. He's very, very good.
Yeah, he absolutely is, and we saw early on in these first couple of restarts him able to get a run and catch up to Scott Simley and maybe give him a battle. The problem is he's had a couple cautions to deal with. So now on the outside, we'll see what he can do here on this restart.
The American Childhood Cancer Organization pace car for the 3rd time tonight goes away, and Scott Simley ready to get on the hammer. He gets a much better restart this time than he did last time around, and will lead the field to turn 1. Clears Chad Coleman. Battle is on for 2nd. Simley's teammate to the inside. CJ LeVere wants that position back in 1.
He wants that position. They're still door to door. Chad Coleman not going to give it up too easy right now, using the momentum of that high side to nose out just a little bit, and now he self-spins it right into the wall. The 20 around Chad Coleman, our points leader, and this is going to have big implications on the championship.
Would that be called hustling it a little too hard?
Yeah, that would be getting on the throttle and a little bit too much right there in the corner, and wow, it's amazing right there. We're already on our third caution of this thing as the replay goes up right there. You can see it just start to break loose right in the middle of the corner. That's exactly where he was starting to get on the throttle. Maybe a little too soon, or maybe a little too heavy with that right foot there for this early going here for the 20 of Chad Coleman. And hopefully he took a hard lick into that nose into the wall. So hopefully they can. There's no engine damage, and they can get that thing back out on track, and he can try to salvage what he can.
So under caution here, already our 3rd Service Master clean caution of the night, and let's get some entertainment going on up here. Let's see if we can't patch into the guy who's come from 27th up to 11th. I want to dial up Jimmy North right here, or as we like to call him here in the broadcast booth, Kenny Schrader. Jimmy North, Jacob Seelman, Andy Kessler, Brian Macklin. You got a copy?
Yeah, 10-4, buddy.
You, sir, have really come calling over halfway up through the field from where you started. How's the truck feeling? What do you think?
It's pretty good. It gets a little tight, though, after about 5 laps for me, but it's pretty stable, really comfortable, just kind of dodging a couple wrecks here and there. A little early on in the race, but yeah, I'm hopeful for hopefully a top 10.
We were talking before this race. This is one of the tracks that we tend to see you be able to have some spin and perform well. What is it about Iowa that at least makes it one of the tracks where some of you guys can be competitive, whereas you might not be at some of the downforce tracks?
I consider it to be a momentum track, or rhythm for sake. You brake at about the same points, get on the gas about the same points, kind of let it roll through the center. I've always been a momentum and rhythm type person, and not much for hot lapping, so it works out pretty well for me.
We'll let you get back to it, but we hope to be talking to you later, my friend. Definitely best of luck, and we'll see if you can't get up there inside the top 10 and give them a run.
All right, thank you, bud.
I don't know. He seems about as excited as I suspected, Brian, and he's really coming on strong. You know, Jimmy wants one of these broadcast wins pretty badly, and we've said it before. The short tracks are a great opportunity for him to get up there and mix it up.
Yeah, definitely a place that he would like to get things straightened up. It's one of those. He said it was one of those rhythm type tracks, and he's right. You know, and it's sort of like a Martinsville or a Richmond where you got to get into that groove, and it's tough, especially right now. 3 cautions already into this race makes it tough for these guys to get into a rhythm, and they're not able to do that. And you know, when you get at a track like this and you can get into that rhythm of when to let off, when to get back on the throttle, how much to turn the wheel, and you can really get your car working exactly how you want it and make up some speed and make up some ground and really pass guys. And we talked about it in the pre-races as a driver's type of track, and it puts a lot into the driver as far as which line to run, and with all the bumps in 1 and 2, and do you run the high side, the middle, in turns 3 and 4. So it gives a lot of options for the drivers, and I think when they designed the track, ultimately that's what they wanted to go for, and it's definitely came to fruition.
So we've still got another lap, just over a lap before we go back green, and Corbin Hemstreet's another driver that's really been impressive in the early going. Started 11th, has methodically worked his way up to the top 5, rides 5th, Matt Lacrosse 4th, Stefan Marinak, CJ Levere, Scott Simley, the 3 trucks from back to front on top of this train. And I think it's really, really telling right now, at least in this early going, that you talk about the Hippies Paint Shop cars, and you've got 3 teammates, Andy, in the top 3 spots in Simley, Levere, and Marinak.
Well, it just goes to show with teamwork and the way these guys go. I'm sure there's one of them that absolutely loves this track, and I'm sure they're all talking to each other and trying to figure out the best ways around the track, and that's what teammates are for, to help each other out. And obviously for that team, it's definitely working for them, having all 3 of them in the top 3. So the communication is obviously there for these guys, and they're making it happen. And this is one of those tracks where good team communication can definitely help the team overall.
And we keep in mind Stefan Marinak, the reigning RSR Outlaw Truck Series champion, won it earlier this season and restarts 3rd. American Ethanol, green flag back in the air, and this restart powered by American Ethanol, American-made, American-grown, and a proud partner of NASCAR and iRacing. Scott Simley away to the point, to the lead. Stefan Marinak to 2nd, drops Levere back to 3rd, and how about Corbin Hemstreet moving to 4th, battling Matt Lacrosse in turn 3.
Yeah, Matt Lacrosse way up to the high side there. That's going to kill his momentum. That's going to give that position to the 41 of Corbin Hemstreet all the way up to that 4th spot. So a great job so far. We talked about it as he's still battling it now side by side with the 21 of Matt Lacrosse. But we talked about him having to have a good run and being up front like he is to avoid hopefully some of the stuff that happens. Oh, and now Corbin Hemstreet's got trouble. He's spinning. He saved it though. Wow, he's going to lose a ton of time there. That's the 2nd time we've seen that, maybe the 3rd time now already tonight, with somebody really just losing it by themselves in turns 3 and 4. And right there, it was for the Hemstreet.
Normally we think of 1 and 2 as Calamity Corner. Tonight it's turn 4, and we may yet have a battle for the lead here in just a couple of moments. Stefan Marinak really trying to roll that high lane. It's a 4-man breakaway off the front of the field. Then it's Mike Kelly 1 second back for the front 4 in 5th. Scott Simley, though, leading in a battle for the lead off turn number 2. Stefan Marinak to the inside of his teammate, the 96, wants a piece of it in turn 3. He shoves it to the bottom in that Speed Force entry.
This is where we talked about sliding up the racetrack and getting up in front of somebody, and Simley actually loses a little bit of ground there coming off the corner. That's going to definitely give the lead to Stefan Marinak. He's going to now have him clear. Simley going to fight hard on the outside, though. That's to keep that 2nd position now with CJ Levere to his inside. Nowhere to go. He's boxed in now. He's got Matt Lacrosse on his rear bumper.
And while all that's going on, it's still a 4-man breakaway. And, well, what was a 4-man breakaway soon to become a 7-truck lead freight train with Chad Cole, Anthony DeBarro trying to join the party as well. Battle raging for 2nd. The 2 teammates still door-to-door down the back straightaway. On the outside, Scott Simley. Inside, CJ Levere. Matt Lacrosse has minds of trying to make it 3 wide on the extreme top lane. Thinks better of it. The battle rages off turn 4.
Yeah, that it does, and you can see how that top side still gives these guys the momentum. Simley able to stay up towards the front right there, and off of turn number 2, though, still the momentum from the high side is not going to allow CJ Levere to get up to that top side. Caution on the speedway.
Trouble for the 45 truck, Mike Montesi in turn number 2, sideways and around, going to be part of the cause of our fourth Service Master clean caution, rolling at lap number 30, and Marinac, the new leader. Andy, a lot of carnage here in the early going.
Yeah, most definitely. And right there, it was the 73 of Donovan Johns that just diving real hard into the corner, and you can see exactly what happens when we watch the replay is that he gets into the corner and then just cannot turn the truck. The truck will not turn. It gets so tight, pushes up the racetrack, clips the 45, and around goes Montesi. So not a lot of damage to his truck. All the other cars coming around behind him were able to avoid it. But, yeah, that's exactly a product of this racetrack right there is you get very aggressive and you think you can dive that thing in there, and then all of a sudden it just will not turn for you.
Leaders are on pit road, Andy, led by the 96 of Stefan Marinac, who's going to be one of the first of the lead group to hit his pit stall.
Yeah, he is, and obviously this track is not going to be a place where you're not going to want two tires. And I know Brian can relate on this a lot as far as this track goes, is not having not taking just two tires. You got to have the four tires at this place.
Marinac easily wins that race off pit road, and it's going to be 32 complete when we get back around to the flag stand. Marinac, what was Scott Simley, CJ LeVere, Matt Lacrosse, Mike Kelly, the top five, will reset the order when we come back from Iowa Speedway. You're watching coverage of the RSR Outlaw Truck Series here on LSRTV, the voice of sim racing.
the outside contact made. 56 slides it into 4. Who's going to be at the stripe? Dead even. Give it to Ryan Truex. Truex is your winner over Tandy.
We're back here live at Iowa Speedway, and Brian, we talked about pit stops and these guys not wanting to. Whoa, we got a little contact going on, guys trying to figure out where they're supposed to be here on this restart here. But we talked about pit stops and guys wanting 4 tires, not 2. That's definitely the call here tonight, isn't it?
Yeah, but one interesting call that I see is Daniel Eberhardt chose not to come to pit road where everybody else did. He stayed out, so he's a sitting duck in my opinion here. He's going to be on the older tires. The 2 tires will work for a couple of laps, but the 4 tires are going to be the advantage here totally. But it's going to be interesting to see how long Daniel Eberhardt's able to stay up here.
It'll be interesting to see, but he said on the radio a minute ago, wherever the golden horseshoe is that he found, he's keeping it because he got no damage in the caution that he was collected in earlier, and that's good news as he leads the field back to green on this restart. Connection issues for Mark Bratcher going to send him backwards in a hurry. Green flag flies, though, and Eberhard away with a big lead to turn one, almost 3 car lengths over Stefan Marinak.
Yeah, that's the advantage you have being the leader and being able to control the restart, and that's exactly what Eberhard had to do with the older tires on his truck right now as the battle for the second spot is really going good. You got side-by-side action right behind him also. You got Simley on the high side. He's got Matt Lacrosse trying to give him an old-fashioned push around this place here as Eberhard, the lead is starting to shrink now. He's chosen the higher line with the older tires, and so far he's able to hang on to it.
I like it, and how about the door cam a moment ago for Scott Simley, who goes for the lead now? That would be a fun look off turn 4. He bonsaied it in there, can't quite make it stick. 5-truck freight train on the front of the field. Back to turn 1, Eberhard the leader, but he's got company in a big way. Simley, the pole sitter, wants the lead back.
Yeah, he wants that lead back, and he's going to have that right now as it looks like he's going to be able to slide up in front. No, Eberhard's going to be able to keep the momentum up on that high side, and that's exactly what Brian talked about early, the slide job, and just not enough room for Scott Simley to make it happen right there off of turn number 4. And that shows you the momentum on the outside that it will come into play here tonight.
That was as dicey as it gets. Simley trying to pitch it in there again. Can he get clear? Answer to that this time is yes. If he wasn't going to be clear, he was going to make the 89 of Eberhard check up and give it to him. That's exactly what happened. Lead change on 39, and Scott Simley back to the point. Now Matt Lacrosse inside for second off turn 2.
Yeah, and that's going to show you right there, too, also the 4 tires, the difference that's going to make, and that's why these guys are able to get the pass done, or at least attempt the pass on the inside of Daniel Eberhard. The older tires, Eberhard's doing exactly what he needs to do, run that high line. It keeps the momentum up, which is definitely key to any truck race, is keeping the momentum up. These are momentum-based race vehicles, so Eberhard, he's fallen back, but not as quickly as we probably expected to see it now as Stefan Marinak, the former champion here, now side by side with him heading back into turn 1.
Yeah, the reigning RSR Outlaw Truck Series champion won the title earlier in the summer, going door-to-door with Eberhard, the young driver, trying to make it stick here in his first season in the Truck Series. That's a wheel-to-wheel battle for the 3rd position, wheel-to-wheel also for 5th and 6th. Anthony DeBarro had a notion maybe, Brian, to make it 3 wide, thought better of it in turns 3 and 4, but that 9 truck, a man on the move, 25th to 6th, he's really found some momentum and using it now.
Yeah, he is steadily marching his way to the front. He's up, like you said, to the 6th position, and it looks like he's looking to get as far to the front as he can. He's got a mess right in front of them as they are essentially, it looks like they're pacing right now. They're 2 by 2 like they're pacing, but they're racing at 150 miles an hour. They're doing this in sync, and it's really kind of cool to watch them do this, and they're hanging on to it. Daniel Eberhard, I'm actually very impressed that he has managed to stay up inside the top 5 so far. I really thought being out there on the older tires that he was going to drop back. So far, he's done a very good job. He's holding off, trying to hold off the 96 of Stefan Marinak. It looks like Stefan's going to get clear, not quite. He's going to have to fight for a little bit more. That opens the door, though, for Anthony DeBarro to jump up behind him and start working on trying to get by CJ LeVere as they almost touch going into turn 1.
That's as tight as it gets. DeBarro wants by. He almost made it 3 wide a couple of moments ago. How long do you wait outside before it gets ugly? They still can't get clear. Now DeBarro trying to work clear of CJ LeVere. Maybe drop to the bottom side of the racetrack. He's almost got a hole. Not quite in turn 1. It's 2 by 2 by 2 from 3rd on back.
Yeah, and that's exactly what the Highline is able to keep this going. But you know what this does for the guys on the bottom? And what it does is it wears out their tires a lot quicker than what they really want. So Marinak able to make the position. Now 3 wide for the position. DeBarro to the outside. They split Eberhard. Eberhard's going to lose 2 spots right there in one shot. Here comes the 8 of Chad Cole now to the inside of Eberhard.
Trouble! Jimmy North, I think, around in turn number 2. Caution flag flies.
Corbin Hemstreet with nowhere to go, piled into Jimmy North. Jimmy got sideways going off into turn one. He almost saved it before turning it back up onto the racetrack. And when he did that, that left Corbin Hemstreet with absolutely nothing to do, nowhere to go. He got caught up in it, so that brings out another ServiceMaster Clean caution. You're going to see the replay on your screen right now, and you'll get an opportunity to catch up with what just happened right there.
And the LSRTV curse strikes again, boys.
I hate it. I really do.
I think we all do at this point. It seems like we're money for this about once a broadcast at this point, and I'm sure we'll hear about it later. Tough break, though, for both Jimmy North and Corbin Hemstreet. That's going to put us under yellow for now the 5th time in less than 50 laps, and some takers on pit road, including Anthony DeBarro. Let's take a look at some of the service going on trackside, Andy.
Yeah, sorry, it's definitely a split decision by all these guys. Really leading them down was the 21 of Matt Lacrosse. He was in that second position, so it's split decision early on in this one, Brian, and not so sure. It all depends, obviously, where like the 21 and the 9 come back out onto the racetrack, and when things cycle around, where they're actually going to start. Because if they start close to that top 5, it might spell trouble for guys like Simley and Stefan Marinak, who stayed out.
Yeah, Matt Lacrosse actually won the battle off of pit road right there, and I'm going back up to the front of the field, and you only have 4 trucks that elected to stay out. So they're going to start as high as 5th. You're going to see Matt Lacrosse restart in the 5th position. And I do believe they had enough laps on their tires where you're going to see this be a big factor on the next restart. Matt Lacrosse is a very aggressive driver. He's going to have the freshest tires out of all these guys around, and expect to see him make some pretty crazy moves on this next restart to try to get to the front as quickly as possible. We've seen how difficult it is to pass, but that initial lap or two, especially when you have the advantage that he's going to have, that's when you can make the most out of it. So he's going to try to do everything he can on those first couple of laps to get as close to Scott Simley as possible.
1/3 distance, 50 laps, actually just over 1/3 distance now. 50 of 125 are in the record books here at Iowa Speedway. We're going to step away for a moment. Scott Simley, the pole sitter, your race leader from Iowa Speedway. You're watching coverage of the RSR Outlaw Truck Series here on Live Sim Racing TV, the voice of sim racing. Welcome back to LSR TV. Just back to green flag racing here at the Iowa Speedway. Scott Simley away from his teammate Stefan Marinak, and CJ LeVere fighting for third. Now 3 wide for third in turn number 1. Bonsai move for the 21 of Matt Lacrosse, trying to squeeze play his way to the front. They get really tight off turn number 2. Lacrosse trying to make it happen, can't do it. Mike Kelly in the 24 is the one that comes out there, and it's all banged up in turns 3 and 4. Caution!
Bobby Wetzel in the 17 machine got caught up in that, as well as Dwayne Vincent. Just a mess back there. You see the number 17. He got a little sideways going into the corner. He caught it, but that caught up with Dwayne Vincent as well. Dwayne had nowhere to go, and they made contact, and that sent Dwayne hard into the outside wall, as well as the number 17 of Bobby Wetzel. You're seeing the replay on your screen now. Just an unfortunate set of circumstances for both those drivers. You see the 45 also go around, and the 72 after the fact going around. So a couple of guys got caught up in that late, but it doesn't appear that they have too much damage on the car or on the trucks. Looks like they're going to be able to drive away pretty cleanly.
And this is going to be our 6th Service Master Clean caution of the evening in just 54 laps. Scott Simley, your leader, going to be among those coming down pit road right now, Andy. And this is, I don't know if it's really the scenario they wanted to see here. They didn't have much of a choice, though.
No, they didn't, because they didn't pit on that first go around just a second ago. Then obviously they didn't allow. They didn't come down pit road when they had the chance that last time. So obviously this quick caution right here, it's exactly what they had to do. They couldn't be that far off sequence with these guys. So it was obviously something that had to be done, but now these guys are going to have to fight their way back up through some traffic.
Yeah, it's going to be hard for them to do because they gave up a ton of track position here. They should have come to pit road with the rest of them on that most recent caution prior to this one, and now we're going to see them really work for it. Scott Simley's been the man to beat all night. He started on the pole. He's led a lot of laps here, but now he's going to be in the back, and he's going to have to really try to work his way up through the field. We're going to have to catch up with scoring here in just a moment to see where he's at. It looks like he's going to be back around at least the 15th or 16th position.
And under this caution, want to take a second and oblige one of the original voices of RSR, special guest here in the Inside Sim Racing broadcast tower with us tonight. We're going all the way back to the ETV days for this one. JD Webb joining us now. And JD, always fun to have you drop by the LSRTV booth, my friend. You've been a part of RSR back in the beginning days here on iRacing when it was on ETV. I know you've had fun watching it grow and really become something great. Glad to have you back with us, though.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, they used to call me the cowboy. And I just want to throw a shout out to Jimmy North. Talked to him earlier, said he was racing tonight, so I thought, well, you know, I haven't seen one of these things in a long time. So figured I'd tune in. I see Laura really pushing the bar here. Really has made a lot of advancements, and it looks really nice.
Do you feel like the racing has changed a whole lot, JD, from when you guys were calling the action a couple of years ago, or is it the same old intensity that RSR has always been known for?
Well, from what I've seen so far, I mean, it's the same intensity that RSR has been known for. I mean, they, you know, as I recall back in the ETV days, they put on some hellacious races. I mean, I would rather sit and watch them than tune in on Sundays to NASCAR. So, you know, John Abbott and the gang, Chad Cole, a bunch of good guys, and, you know, really love watching these guys race.
And we definitely enjoy having you stop in. I am curious, though, is there a favorite memory or a finish that you happen to remember from your guys' days broadcasting RSR, or were there too many good moments to pick one?
Way too many moments. I mean, calming John down in the booth, and you know, I mean, it was sometimes a hellacious night to be able to put one of these things on. I know exactly what Laura's going through. It's a whole lot of work, a lot more work than people really give her credit for. And but huge kudos to Laura and the job she's doing, and Evan and the crew and all you guys. Really good stuff.
Well, we appreciate it and appreciate you stopping by, JD. Always a pleasure, and I wish you all the best.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Good job, guys, and it was fun to be here with you.
Getting ready to go back green here in a moment, Andy, and Scott Simley, who was leading this race, drops to 16th for this next restart. Got a long way to come.
Oh, yeah, definitely. I made the mistake, obviously, not coming down pit road this most recent caution before this, and what that did was just gave him the disadvantage, and obviously taking this quick caution right back to back, he had to come down. This had to be when he came down to get this done, and now he's just got to pick through traffic. Green flag, though, is back out on the racetrack here as they head back into turn number 1. A big jump for Mike Kelly there, Brian, and Matt Lacrosse now. He's going to have to battle with the old veteran there, Chad Cole.
Yeah, Matt Lacrosse is actually going to be able to clear Chad Cole as they come off turn 2, and now he sets his sights on Mike Kelly. Mike Kelly is one of those drivers that did not pit on that previous caution. He elected to stay out here and keep the track position, so we're going to see how this plays out for him. Meanwhile, here comes Matt Lacrosse. He's on his bumper as they go off into turn 1. Here he goes to the inside. He's going to make it door to door as they go through turns 1 and 2. Not going to be able to clear him for the moment. He's trying to get the run up off the corner. Mike Kelly's going to have the advantage. That's going to bring the number 89 of Daniel Eberhardt now to the outside battling for second position.
Eberhardt's strategy has been working really well. He makes the run to second. Lacrosse gets loose off turn number 4, and now that's going to bring Anthony DeBarro into this mix. Battle for 4th, battle for 2nd. Chad Cole to the inside of the racetrack, wants a piece of the lead. Off turn 2, the wily veteran inside of Mike Kelly almost had a run for the lead. Now side by side with Eberhardt for P2 in turns 3 and 4, and Cole, I think, going to be able to slide up and clear him. Not quite.
No, the momentum on the high side right there for Eberhardt is going to allow him to still battle for the second position. 3 wide behind him, though. DeBarro way to the inside. He's got Matt Lacrosse on the inside. The 43 of Doug Roth to the outside. They're still 3 wide. A little bit of contact down the back straightaway, but they still hang on to it.
A lot of contact entering turn number 3. Anthony DeBarro trying to make something happen. He can't do it. They touch again. DeBarro and Lacrosse do. Doug Roth wisely backs out of this one. Battle for 4th in turn 1 raging. DeBarro, Lacrosse, neither one of them ready to give an inch.
No, and a huge battle now for the lead. Eberhardt, he wants to sniff over. He's down to the inside now of Mike Kelly. He's got the fresh tires in the track position now finally for Eberhardt. The strategy is finally starting to pay out. Now he's here near side-by-side for the race lead, but Chad Cole looks on behind. He wants a piece of it also. Here comes Lacrosse now trying to get back into it.
Chad Cole's just waiting, trying to not get that truck torn up while he's fighting for the lead. To the outside of Eberhardt. Battle for 2nd. Eberhardt wants a piece of the lead. DeBarro back to the inside. 3 wide in turns 3 and 4. That's a battle for the 4th position. 3 trucks under a blanket. Eberhardt wants it, doesn't get it there, and now DeBarro moves into 4th.
He moves into 4th. Lacrosse got a little loose in the corner right there. Give Doug Roth another position as Lacrosse loses a bunch of positions, but still for the lead side by side. The momentum carrying for Mike Kelly on the outside. Eberhardt had a nose out in front of him, wasn't able to hang on to it. Now off turn number 4, pulls out slightly right there, see if he can get him at the line. He does get him at the line, and they still battle door to door into turn 1.
Lead change. Daniel Eberhardt grabs it at lap 66 by 5/1,000ths of a second. He is using Mike Kelly for all it's worth right here. Here comes DeBarro inside for 3rd, for 2nd in turn 4.
3 wide. He pushed it for a moment there, unable to make it stick. Now they're 2 by 2 now for the top 4 positions. Eberhardt still trying to make that inside lane work. Looks like he's gonna almost make contact right there with Mike Kelly. Off of turn number 2, they slam just a little bit. Still 2 by 2 for the top 4 spots.
Are you kidding me right now? Does it get any better than this? 4 trucks under a blanket. Mike Kelly trying to get the lead back at lap 68. He does over Daniel Eberhardt. And now Chad Cole to the outside for 2nd. Eberhardt going back on him for the lead in turn 2.
Oh, what a battle we're seeing right now between these top 4 guys. It looks like caution out, a spin behind these guys, so they can finally take a breath after about 10 or 15 laps right there.
Stefan Marinak, the 96, the reigning champion, in trouble and bringing out Our 7th Service Master Clean Caution of the night with 69 laps complete. We're past halfway, and while we're under yellow, let's take a look down the iRacing full field rundown as part of our LSRTV midway race break. Mike Kelly just got the lead back before the caution flag ahead of Daniel Eberhardt. Chad Cole in 3rd, Anthony DeBarro 25th to 4th, and Doug Roth is 5th, Matt Lacrosse 6th, Brian Harvey 7th, Scott Simley, Ross Cato, Scott Bolster the top 10.
11, TJ Kelly, Mike Montesi in 12th. 13th is CJ LeVere. 14th, Justin Michael. Tim Matthews sits 15th. 16th, Travis Burks. Christopher Gore is in that 17th spot. 18th for J.R. Johnson. Dave Camara 19th. And Aaron Bennett right now in the 20th spot.
We'll get you the rest of the full field rundown after pit stops. Right now, Brian, the leaders are in.
Yeah, everybody down on pit road this time. I think everybody learned from their mistakes in the past couple of cautions. They need to come in and get 4 fresh tires. This is a lifesaver for Mike Kelly. He was out there on those old tires and did an amazing job hanging on to that race lead. Now he's going to be on an even playing field. 4 fresh tires. He's got the left sides up. He's about to be down in the way, but he had a very slow stop. I see Matt Lacrosse is going to beat everybody off pit road. He took 4 tires as well, but he had an incredible pit stop, and that's going to get him the race lead. You're going to see Mike Kelly come out 2nd, and then Chad Cole is going to come out in the 3rd position.
Yeah, another great pit sequence for Doug Roth as well in the 43 truck, making up a ton of spots on the pit lane. We'll have 71 laps complete this time by. And while we're under caution, let's dial up the driver who was involved in the very first incident at lap number 5 and has managed to come back, run inside the top 5, and even lead a couple of laps in the exchange. Daniel Eberhardt was in that mix up front, currently rides 5th, and we've got him on the radio now. Daniel Eberhardt, Jacob Seelman, Brian Macklin, Andy Kessler in the booth. You got a copy, my friend?
Yes, sir, I do.
Are you kidding me? Involved in the first wreck on lap 5, and now battling for the lead, led 2 laps in that exchange. That was as dicey as we've seen it all night. How crazy was it from the driver's seat?
Oh, that's just getting fun right there. That was just a bunch of great drivers just wheeling their trucks around this, I guess, mile racetrack.
Just about a mile. I guess they call it 7/8 for lack of better math. I mean, how good's the truck? I know you said you didn't have any damage early. You think you can take her back to the front?
I really don't know. I think Chad Cole and Anthony DeBarro they're the 2 fastest right now, so I think I need to get right on par with them, and we might have a shot.
What's it going to take in the latter stages of this race? Do you need short runs or long runs?
I don't think it's going to be either. I think it's going to be the guy who gets enough courage to dive bomb into the corner and make a little slide job move.
We'll let you get back to it. I know you're excited. Best of luck. Restarting 5th for this one, so we'll see what you can do.
Thank you.
I don't know, Andy. This is going to be very, very entertaining. I like it. I'm looking forward to it here in the latter stages of this race.
Well, not only did the drivers with that caution get the ability to actually take a breath, but so did we. That was just some amazing racing right there, and all the guys involved with that are still up there in the top 5. So I expect nonetheless right now on this next restart too. So man, that was just some awesome racing, and like he said, you put some of the top drivers up there and all just wheeling these things all around the racetrack, and they did a fantastic job getting it done right there. And we'll see if they can continue it on. I thought for sure we were battling for the race win there at the end of a race, not in the middle of it.
It's definitely been fun to watch so far. They look like this. The top 10. Matt Lacrosse won the race off pit road. He will restart from the point. Mike Kelly, Chad Cole, Doug Roth, Daniel Eberhardt, the top 5. Anthony DeBarro just sent to the tail of the line for connection issues, moving Brian Harvey up to 6th. Scott Simley, the pole sitter, 7th. The rookie, Ross Cato, in 8th. Scott Bolster, 9th. And CJ LeVere keeps hanging around. He's 10th right now as we get set to go back to green with 51 laps to go. The American Cancer I'll try that again. The American Childhood Cancer Organization pace car. There's your mouthful for the night, Evan Pasoko. Getting ready to head to pit road here as we get set to go back. Green flag racing. Matt Lacrosse, Mike Kelly, ready to bring him down. Lacrosse on the loud pedal. Green flag flies once again. Kelly does not get the best of restarts. He's left to deal with the former champ, Chad Cole, going for P2 in turn 1.
A good battle right there. The momentum's going to give Kelly the advantage on the high side. He's going to clear Chad Cole. Now Eberhardt looking to the outside of that 8 machine. Going to squeeze him up a little bit, does Chad Cole. He's going to still have that bottom side, but here comes Eberhardt now with the momentum on the high side. That's the battle for third, side by side, back into 1.
Back into 1 with 50 laps to go. Chad Cole on the inside. Eberhardt up top, already up 2 spots from where he restarted, using that high lane very well. Mike Kelly gives him a look on the outside lane. Eberhardt not ready to force it all the way up there yet. Now Kelly trying to use the middle groove of the racetrack to make up ground, close in on Matt Lacrosse. Car length lead, battle for the lead in turn 1. Here comes Mike Kelly to the bottom in the 24. The Exalta machine wants the point.
Yeah, he wants that position. He's going to have the run off of turn number 2, but the momentum still, like we talk about lap after lap, is going to put him, Matt Lacrosse, now to the lead. They almost made contact there entering turn number 3. Now they're side by side. Still the top 4 guys. They're doing it again here on lap number 78.
77 complete. Move Mike Kelly back to the lead in turn number 1. He led that lap, and now they're wheel to wheel. Chad Cole ready to make a move.
Yeah, Chad Cole trying to do something. The problem is he has nowhere to go. He's going to look to take it 3 wide now, all the way down to that yellow line. 3 wide for that second spot. Here comes Kelly, though, in the middle groove. They're able to hold him off there as they battle down the front straightaway. Eberhardt now to the outside of Kelly. That's the battle for second.
And Matt Lacrosse able to use all this scrambling to go back to the point with authority. Daniel Eberhardt to the outside of Mike Kelly for the second position. Eberhardt makes it happen, moves to P2, and now 3 wide for the 4th position. Here comes CJ LeVere, rather for 5th. Doug Roth in that mix, and Scott Simley. They're still 3 wide to turn 1.
Yeah, we talked about Scott Simley having to work his way back through traffic. 3 wide off turn 2 is going to get real tight right here. They give each other plenty of room. They're going to sort it out. Now Eberhardt to the lead in turn number 3. He's going to slide up right in front of Matt Lacrosse. It's going to send him down to the bottom. Now a new leader, the 89 of Daniel Eberhardt.
With authority on lap number 80, 45 laps to go, and arguably the fastest truck on the property takes to the point. Daniel Eberhardt out front, but Chad Cole still lurking. He wants second down the backstretch.
He wants that second spot. He's going to have to deal with Matt Lacrosse and the momentum on the high side off of turn number 4. Here they go, Lacrosse. With the momentum, he's going to get that position. That's going to put Chad Cole back in that 3rd spot. But here comes a run by Kelly. Kelly thought about looking to the inside, chose wisely now, as now everybody's finally sorted out single file. The top 7 guys now single file off turn 2. They're all bumper to bumper, battling hard for every position they can get.
In the turn 3, Scott Simley sends it to the bottom on Mike Kelly. He tried to slide up. He almost got into the door of the 24. He lost a ton of momentum as they go down the front straightaway here. That's going to allow Mike Kelly to get the position, and now caution back out on the the track again. Mike Montesi in the number 45 machine is around on the front straightaway. He's down in the grass, and so we have another caution. It was a self-spin for the number 45 machine, and these guys, I think we needed to catch our breaths, but I also think these drivers, especially the ones at the front, needed to catch their breaths. That was some of the most intense racing I have seen in a very, very long time.
And it also allows us to take a commercial break. Go LSRTV non-stop here past halfway. 42 laps to go from Iowa Speedway, and Daniel Eberhardt finally makes it to the front. He leads Matt Lacrosse, Chad Cole, Mike Kelly, and Scott Simley from Iowa Speedway. You're watching Live Sim Racing TV, the voice of sim racing.
outside contact made. 56 slides in at a 4. Who's going to be at the stripe? Dead even. Give it to Ryan Truex. Truex is your winner over Tandy.
We're back live here at Iowa Speedway and working lap number 86. And man, these last 25 laps or so, Jacob, have just been probably the best racing we've seen all season long in the trucks.
I will certainly agree with that statement, Andy. It's been fun to watch. We needed that caution to catch our breaths, and the best part about it is not over yet. By my calculation, we're going to get green here with about 37 laps to go. Time for some more hard racing. Time for a few more cautions, though, as well, Brian. And, Daniel Eberhardt, I don't like this strategy staying out. They were running really hard, even though there's only 10 laps or so on the tires. I just don't buy it. I really don't.
I didn't like it at first until I saw how many guys behind him chose to stay out. Initially, I thought it was a really bad call, and then I looked at it and saw where there's 7 other guys behind him that chose to stay out. The first guy on fresh tires is Matt Lacrosse back in the 9th position. It is extremely hard to pass, and you're not going to make up that many positions quickly enough for you to be able to take advantage of the fresh tires. By the time Matt Lacrosse gets up inside the top 5, he's going to have used all the good on those tires, and while he still may be a little bit faster, it's going to be a lot less than it will be on those first couple of laps. So I think Daniel Eberhardt is okay right here. What he's going to want is for this thing to stay green for at least another 15 to 20 laps and then get a caution, and that should bring everybody down to pit road for what should be the final time.
Yeah, it's all going to matter is obviously where the cautions fall, if they happen to fall here in the late going. And like you said, that he needs somewhat of a decent run where guys like Matt Lacrosse will come back down pit road. So I think for Matt Lacrosse, if he can gain another 5 or 6 positions here on this next run, I think that's where Matt Lacrosse is going to benefit from it. And then that's when, if a caution does come out, a pit stop for him wouldn't hurt him at all. So for Eberhardt, he's got a lot of guys that stayed out with him. That is the factor that's going to help him here, at least on this restart.
And we come back to the green flag again. 37 laps to go here from Iowa, the Hawkeye State. The American Childhood Cancer Organization pace car to pit road. Eberhardt on the loud pedal. Green flag flies once again. 88 laps complete. Single file for the top 5. We go to turn number 1. Stefan Marinak, the first one to the bottom to make a move.
Yeah, he's going to go side by side with the 54, Tim Matthews. We haven't talked much about him all night. Here he is in the later stages of the race, battling hard for that 4th position on the outside. Marinak still on the inside, way down to that bottom side. Matthews still going to have the advantage on the outside lane. He's still going to continue this battle side by side back into turn 1.
How about Matt Lacrosse on fresh tires? The 21 already up to the battle for 5th. He wants more. 3 wide down the back straightaway. Lacrosse all the way to the bottom of the racetrack, using up every inch he can get. 3 wide with the 54 of Matthews and the 9 of DeBarro. That's a dicey move, and Lacrosse going to pick his way through and move up to the top half dozen here as we work now inside of 35 laps to go. Still wheel to wheel, Lacrosse and Marinak. That's for the 4th spot now.
Yeah, and DeBarro hanging tough right there, trying to figure out which lane's going to actually go. Matt Lacrosse still choosing to run that bottom side right now. DeBarro with a big run, though, on the outside. He's going to have the advantage over Chad Cole to his inside. And now look at Lacrosse almost come up in front of him. DeBarro has to get off of the throttle right there. That's going to slow him down just a bit now as he looks outside, 3 wide off turn 2.
Hold your breath right here, boys and girls. We may not be done with the caution flags tonight. 91 laps complete. Eberhardt, Kelly, and Kelly, the top 3. Mike Kelly versus TJ Kelly for the runner-up position. And now it's wheel to wheel as Lacrosse starting to fall back. Chad Cole in the 8 makes the move for position number 6. DeBarro, meanwhile, knocking on the door of Marinak. That's the battle for 4th in turn 3.
Yeah, to the inside goes DeBarro, not quite to the bottom, but about in that middle groove right now, trying to keep some momentum up Marinac, though, going to have the advantage off turn number 4. Is going to get that position. DeBarro now back in line. Chad Cole now up to his back bumper. Lacrosse still in the picture, trying to get some of these positions back. Truck, though, awfully tight right now for the 21. He pushes up the racetrack, loses a ton of time to Chad Cole. Chad Cole now dives to the bottom inside of DeBarro. DeBarro looking to make it 3 wide on the outside. Not going to happen. Off of turn number 4, Chad Cole still trying to hang on to that inside.
He almost got 2 for 1 there. Caution flies with 30 to go.
The number 68 of Scott Simley is around on the front straightaway. Our pole sitter coming into tonight, he got turned around on the front straightaway trying to see exactly what happened here. It looks like there was a little bit of contact. The 87 bounced off the wall. The 68 of Scott Simley went to check up, and then there was just a little bit of melee there. That sent Scott Simley into the outside wall to bring out yet another caution. You saw the replay on your screen just a moment ago. Not a lot of damage on the 68 machine, but he loses all that track position. He had made his way back up inside the top 10, and now he's going to be back around the, I believe, the 20th or 21st position now.
So a caution with 30 laps to go, going to reset the field and really give us a shootout to the finish. But first, we're going to step aside and go again. LSRTV non-stop. Daniel Eberhardt, the race leader, inside of 30 laps to go. From the Iowa Speedway, you're watching LSRTV, the voice of sim racing. Welcome back to LSRTV, closing in on the finish under caution with 27 laps to go. In fact, the 9th such occurrence here tonight in the RSR Outlaw Truck Series. Get to know Newton 125. Daniel Eberhardt, your leader. Mike Kelly second. TJ Kelly in third. Fourth to Stefan Marinac, and fifth, the 8 of Chad Cole, who I'm going to say right now, Andy, is my flyer to win this race on fresher tires. I like the move Cole was making during that last run. He's on the inside. I just talked to Daniel Eberhardt under caution. He thinks he can get away. I don't think he gets away from that 8 truck, though. I think Cole may not have shown all his cards quite yet.
Yeah, we were talking. Brian and I were talking about that while we were away on commercial, and the problem I think that Cole's going to have is the cars around him trying to get around them, and really the only thing they're giving him is the bottom lane, and the bottom lane chews up your tires a lot quicker because you end up having to turn the wheel more to get around. So that's probably the only thing that's holding the 8 back. If he can get some help on the outside where guys give him some room, he might be able to make a run at this. But man, if Eberhardt can time this restart just right, he might be able to pull out to enough of a lead that, you know, barring another caution, he might be tough one to pass.
We'll have 25 laps to go when we go back green flag racing, Brian. Have we seen the last caution or no?
Every time you ask me this, I have the same answer. Absolutely not. They've been wrecking all night, not because they've been racing recklessly, just because that's what happens on short tracks. You're going to see more cautions here. I'm interested to see what Chad Cole can do. He's got fresh tires. He's going to restart third on the inside line. He's going to be fifth in total. And if he can get a good restart, those fresh tires might still play a factor here for him.
It's Eberhard on the point, the Exalta Silverado of Mike Kelly second, TJ Kelly third, and then it's the Hippies Paint Shop Motorsports machine of Stefan Marinac, the Speed Force entry, in fourth as we get set to go back green flag racing. Pace car's gone. Field in the hands of Eberhard, who goes green flag, flies, and he's not really able to get away from the 24 of Mike Kelly. Now he'll clear him going down to turn one. Chad Cole going to make the bonsai move, wants a piece of third, and he's inside off turn two.
That he is, but he gets a little tight and pushes up the racetrack just a bit. That's going to still give the advantage to TJ Kelly. He dives way down to the inside now, 3 wide behind these guys as they battle for this third position still. The 23 and TJ Kelly hanging tough on the outside, and that's exactly what we just talked about. This is the only thing holding up Chad Cole right now, is the ability that he cannot slide up in front of these guys and get the momentum down the straightaways. He's stuck to the inside right now, and that's just going to wear out his tires and also run out of laps for him too. So Eberhard continuing to lead this thing, only a truck length right there, but look at Chad Cole go right there, able to finally make that pass. Now give caution out on the speedway.
A perfectly timed pass for third. The 13 of Travis Burke's going to be the reason for the caution at 1:03. So yellow flag flies here at the 103rd time around, and the replay going up now. And Brian, you got a good look at this one, and just trouble right there back at the tail end of the lead lap.
Yeah, that was just hard racing gone wrong. The 87 machine was trying to slide up in front of the 40 of Scott Bolster, and unfortunately for Justin Michael, that did not work. They made contact coming off turn 4. That sent Scott Bolster around, and then a couple of drivers got collected in the process. We saw the 5 come in, the number 13 of Travis Burks got collected. Just a couple of guys that just had nowhere to go. The number 72 machine as well of David Camara was caught up. So just a product of short track racing, and unfortunately for these guys, a pretty rough night. They've been caught up in a couple of these wrecks.
10 caution flags now in 104 laps. And again, everybody faking down to pit road. Nobody wants to be the guy to make that commitment. And now if you're Chad Cole, Andy, I like the position he's in now, being third on this restart, right behind Daniel Eberhard.
Yeah, that move he made to get around the 23 of TJ Kelly, that I think is what's going to give him, the move he made to get around him and Stefan Marinac, that's going to be what possibly did it for Chad Cole, to give him the opportunity to win this thing. That was a bold move. We talk about sliding up in front of guys. It's exactly what he did, exactly what he had to do. He was getting stuck on that bottom line, and it just wasn't working for him. So he finally got the advantage and was able to slide up in front of those guys. And for him now to restart this thing in the third spot right behind Eberhard, all he's got to do now is time the restart perfectly with Eberhard, and that'll give him the opportunity to first get around Mike Kelly, and then he can set his sights on Eberhard here in the closing laps.
We'll reset the top 10 like this. Daniel Eberhard, your leader. Mike Kelly, second. Chad Cole, as we just mentioned, up to third. Stefan Marinac now rides fourth, and TJ Kelly in fifth. Matt Lacrosse, sixth. Anthony DeBarro has rebounded from a tail end of the line penalty for connection issues to ride seventh. Brian Harvey and Mike Montesi are eighth and ninth, with Doug Roth rounding out the top 10. 17 cars on the lead lap right now, and we have had 10 cautions for what will be 50 laps by the time we go back green flag racing. No lead changes since lap number 80. Daniel Eberhard has led the last 25 laps in succession, and I think at this point, Brian, he's the favorite to win this race. I really do.
I don't know. I kind of like Chad Cole now. He's going to be restarting right behind him in the third position. He's going to have those fresh tires. I still think they're going to help him some now that he's going to have a shot to possibly move into the second position on the restart. I think this is really going to play into his hands here. Daniel Eberhardt certainly has a good truck and has the driving ability to hold him off. It's going to make for an amazing show, but I want to take a second just to look at this top 10. We just went through it. There's a lot of comers and goers in this field here tonight. You look at Daniel Eberhardt, he started outside the top 20 and 22nd. He's leading. You also have TJ Kelly, who started 28th up into the 5th position. Anthony DeBarro started 25th, and he's in the 7th position. And Mike Montesi started 29th and is up to the 9th position. So all of those drivers have done a great job. They had to start deep in the field here tonight and had to avoid a lot of carnage in the early stages of this race, and they've done a great job, and they've managed to get themselves in a position to have a really good finish here in the closing stages.
Yeah, you're exactly right with that. And, obviously with making big moves like that comes track position battles as far as when to pit, when not to pit, 2 tires, 4 tires. We've obviously seen everybody take 4 tires for the majority. I think there was one time, I think Matt Lacrosse maybe have taken 2 tires, probably around lap 80 or so, somewhere in that area. But other than that, it's been 4 tires for all these guys. And you know what? Listen, now it's the beds have been made, and now they got to deal with what they got. And these front runners obviously not going to come down pit road again here in this race, and they're going to have to get what they can with what they have. And like you said, Chad Cole sitting in that 3rd spot. It's going to be all about this restart here, and if he can get around Mike Kelly quickly, or if Mike Kelly's going to be able to hold on to that 2nd spot.
So you got Eberhardt and Kelly on this front row, the way it's been for the last 3 or 4 consecutive caution periods here. And it's going to be key for the 89 to get away from the 8 on this restart, because if Chad Cole can stay with him, Chad Cole will have a shot to get around him and win this race. We've seen him do it before. Cole has not led a lap tonight, but he knows there's only one lap that gives the trophy, and that's the final one. We've got 17 laps to go here from Iowa. Pace car's gone. Daniel Eberhardt, Mike Kelly, Chad Cole, Stefan Marinak come back to the green flag. Good restart for Eberhardt. Cole getting away. The battle for second not going to happen immediately in turn 1. Cole to the bottom, just needs to get clear of Marinak, and he will.
Yeah, he will get clear of the 96 right there. Is 96 now looking for, as we got 3 wide just behind these guys. Anthony DeBarro right in the middle of that right here on the bottom, just drove right down there. He came in with the fresh tires. Now he's going to get around Brian Harvey and everybody else and move him now up into that 6th spot. As they do that, the battle for second heats up, and it might be a battle for the lead not too long from now. Chad Cole to the inside now, and Mike Kelly battling side by side back into turn number 3.
I'm telling you what, if this stays green, keep an eye on Anthony DeBarro. He's the fastest thing in Iowa right now. Cole overdrives it and spins to the bottom of the racetrack. He was going for the lead. It is not going to work. No caution as Chad Cole gives it away at lap 110. 15 to go.
15 laps to go. Unfortunate break right there for the number 8. Here comes Mike Kelly as we look at a side-by-side replay of what happened. Mike Kelly going to try to look to the inside of Eberhardt off of turn number 4. Not going to happen, though. Eberhardt going to hang on to that top spot. Marinak, though, sneaking into the picture now for 3 guys. DeBarro also making a run now up to the 4th spot here. Like Jacob just said, the fastest truck on the speedway right now as the battle for second now heats up. Marinak looking to the inside, not going to happen in 3.
If it stays green, Anthony DeBarro will win this race. He's the only truck on fresh tires. He has driven all the way back to the front of this field in a hurry. 13 laps to go, and DeBarro peeking up the outside of Marinak. He wants 3rd. Down the back straightaway, Marinak throws the block. DeBarro to the inside, wants a piece of it, drives all the way to the bottom of the racetrack. Cannot make the slide job work, but off turn 4, he's got the grip to go wheel to wheel for P3.
He's got the grip to do it for now, but right on that inside is going to wear out the tires. Here he goes now, peeking to the inside of the 24 of Mike Kelly off of turn number 2. DeBarro, tons of horsepower in there, drops back just a bit, but trying to make that inside work. I've never seen anybody dive this thing into the corners as hard as he's doing, and he's been able to control that thing, at least for the time being. He gets that 3rd spot. Now here comes Marinak with a kill crease crossover into 1.
All right, DeBarro now on the outside, looking to make a move on Mike Kelly for second. Off turn 2. He's got the horsepower. He's going to have 10 laps to do it. To the bottom of the racetrack goes DeBarro. Wants P2. He might have a shot to go for the win before it's over. Side by side for the runner-up position. Kelly has it. DeBarro wants it. 10 laps to go in turn 1.
Wow, look at this 9 truck. I've never seen anyone drive this hard at Iowa. And wow, this is just unbelievable how hard he's driving this thing. Look at how deep he drives it in there. He's able to keep it down, though. That's the impressive part right there. Slides up in front of Kelly. Kelly gives him the bumper and down the front straightaway. He's got that second spot. Now he sets his sight on the lead.
Mike Kelly could have turned Anthony DeBarro there, and now Mike Kelly gets loose and spins in turn number 2. Big crash. Stefan Marinak, and caution flag is out. Oh, my.
Huge wreck right there for Mike Kelly. He was doing everything he could to try to battle for the win. He drove it off into the corner, and it just looks like actually there's a little bit of contact between him and the 96 of Stefan Marinak. He tried to catch the truck and then turned it hard into the door of Stefan Marinak. You see the replay on your screen now. A 2-truck incident to slow these guys down in what was an incredible battle. And oh man, Anthony DeBarro did not want to see that caution. That took away a lot of precious laps that he needed to try to make his move for the race lead. It's going to be very interesting to see what he can do on this next restart. This last restart, when they go back green, they will not have another opportunity.
It's going to be a 3-lap shootout when we go back green. Oh boy, Andy, I don't care if it's 1 lap or 3 laps. I like the 9 truck at this point. He's got the freshest tires of anybody. I say he wins this race.
You know what? If he doesn't, I'll be surprised. But you know what? The one guy that I'm actually impressed with, and I'm saying, where the heck did he come from? The 4 of CJ LeVere. He also came down pit road, took tires along with Anthony DeBarro, so he started way back there also. And now to see him up here in that 3rd spot, I was watching him there towards the lap or 2 right before the caution, and saw him actually creeping up into the picture. So, man, CJ LeVere, I think we might have a pretty good battle here for this final few laps here as we're getting close here to, we got 6 to go right now, so unbelievable.
Absolutely incredible what this race is shaped out to be. I think at the beginning of the race, before we went on the air, we were all talking about how we did not think this was going to be that great of a race, but man, have we been proven wrong so far tonight. This has been one of the most action-packed races and one of the most intense races that we have seen in a very long time. These guys have done a great job putting on a show for us, and I can't believe how much fun it has been to be up here in the booth calling this race here tonight. And it's not over yet. We still have one more restart. We're going to see what Anthony DeBarro can do with Daniel Eberhardt. He's got the speed in the truck. There's no doubt about that. Does he have the time? Is the caution going to come out once again to mess him up, or is he going to have the opportunity to go out there and take this victory? There's so much going on right now, and I can't wait for this last restart.
Who would have thought after they sent him to the tail of the line for connection issues 30 laps ago, Andy, that Anthony DeBarro would be in position to win this race right now? Are you kidding me?
Hey, listen, this is why he wins races in the Full Throttle Cup Series. I mean, he knows how to wheel this thing around the track, and you know what? A lot of these guys, they run the Cup cars, and they're very, very good at it. And then they come into a truck race, and these trucks are just, I'm not going to say they're easy to drive, but they're a lot more forgiving. And they really put on a great show. You can see a lot more side-by-side action. If this was the Cup cars, the way these guys were racing, there was no way they'd be able to hang on to it like they've been doing. So I know running these trucks for a lot of these Cup drivers is just a lot of fun. And I'm sure DeBarro is just having a blast right now, driving up through the field right now. And you got to say he's licking his chops right now. The only thing that's going to hold him back right now is if they get a caution on this restart. That's the only thing that's gonna stop the 9 or the 4 from winning this race.
And where did CJ LeVere come from in 3rd? We hadn't talked about him for 65 laps after he dropped outside the top 10. And now here he is looking at a podium finish. I mean, this whole top 10 right now, it seems like we've got names that we haven't talked about all race long, or at least for the latter part of this race. Brian Harvey up in 5th. Justin Michael 8th. Mike Montesi's back to 9th. Aaron Bennett, who we hadn't talked about since the grid when he qualified 6th, he's back inside the top 10. This is going to be fun as we come to 1 to green right here.
Yeah, and you know what, CJ LeVere, I was just mentioning that a couple caution laps ago, that he took tires when DeBarro did, so he's basically on the same strategy right now as DeBarro, so I wouldn't be surprised to see the 4 battle in the 9 for the win.
Oh boy, so half a lap away. Daniel Eberhardt's got to get the restart of his life right here if he wants to go to victory lane tonight, because anything less than that, and he is going to have fresh tires swallowing him up on this final 3-lap stint to the finish. Eberhardt, DeBarro, LeVere, Lacrosse, Harvey, and Roth. Your front 3 rows for the final American Ethanol restart of the night. The go zone when they come off at turn number 4 as the pace car looks for pit road. Can Eberhardt win? Can DeBarro get there? Green flag flies. DeBarro can't change lanes till the line. Now he'll drop to the inside of the racetrack. It's 2 men out front for the lead and the win in turn 1.
Hey, here comes LeVere with the fresh tires on the bottom side. Not going to be able to make it stick off of turn number 2. About a truck and a half car length lead right now for Eberhardt into turn number 3. Look at DeBarro way to the top side. Eberhardt doing everything he can to hold on to that position. And it looks like we have trouble behind these guys. Oh, there's the caution.
Caution flag flies just as DeBarro was making the move. It was Justin Michael off the exit of turn number 4. That's what Daniel Eberhardt needed, and that's what's going to seal the deal as he comes to the caution and the white. This time by, we'll get a look at the replay in a moment. Justin Michael's trouble becomes a win for Daniel Eberhardt.
Yeah, how about that? A big, big win for Daniel Eberhardt and heartbreak for Anthony DeBarro. Anthony DeBarro really needed this thing to stay green. He by far had the fastest truck on this last stint, and if that thing had stayed green, there's no doubt in my mind he was going to have the opportunity to take this victory away from Daniel Eberhardt, and it just an incredible race for these guys.
Yeah, I'm so impressed with the way Eberhardt's been running. We talked to him on the pace laps, Jacob, and you heard him. He sounded so dejected that we were at Iowa, and he just plugged away at it all race long, and he took over the lead on lap 80. Here he is on lap 125, taking the checkered flag for the win.
Led the final 46 laps in succession, caution and checkers. That's 2 Outlaw Truck Series wins in a row. Texas and now Iowa for Daniel Eberhardt. He wins in a hard-fought duel with Anthony DeBarro in the closing stages of this race. The 89, the 9, and the 4. Eberhardt wins it. DeBarro and LeVere on 4 tires just run out of time. A fun race, and he's going to get to burn it down now on the front straightaway. Eberhardt, your winner, and we will hear from him when we come back. From Iowa Speedway, you're watching LSR TV coverage of the RSR Outlaw Truck Series, the voice of sim racing. Welcome back to LSR TV, kicking off the post-race show tonight here from Iowa Speedway after a fantastic duel to the finish. It's Daniel Eberhardt somehow managing to hold on for the win over guys with 4 tires, and he makes it happen. We'll hear from him in a couple of minutes. First, though, we're going to go trackside and catch up. I believe Brian Macklin's got our third-place finisher. CJ LeVere came from nowhere in the closing stages.
Yeah, I've caught up with CJ LeVere. CJ, you were one of those guys we didn't really get to talk about too much here tonight, but when it counted, you were at the front and you were battling for a shot at the victory. Take us through all those restarts at the end of this race, trying to battle your way back up to the front and trying to put yourself in a position to win this race.
I screwed up on my pit stops and got off sequence and got to the back, and it's just so difficult to pass. Couldn't get back up there, and I just kind of bided my time, and the cautions worked out and put me right back up there when it counted.
Yeah, obviously, you had to battle through a lot of adversity here tonight. What was it like trying to battle through the guys that would stay out after a little bit of a run and a caution coming out, trying to battle through the traffic, and then being on the opposite side of that where you were the guy on older tires trying to hold off the ones that were on fresh tires? We saw that pretty much throughout the entire evening where there was a differing strategy among the field and who was doing which strategy.
Yeah, it was pretty difficult. When you had fresh tires, it felt like you were going to run the guy over. And when you didn't have good tires, it felt like you were going to get run over. You kind of just had to pick and choose your battles, and that's how we ended up here.
Well, congratulations on your third place finish. We're going to give you an opportunity here to thank your sponsors and say hello to any friends or family at home that might be watching real quick. Let us know who makes it happen for you.
Well, I got to thank RSR for putting on the series, LSRTV for doing the TV deal. I got to thank my team, Speed Force Racing. Got to thank my other sponsor, ITSR. I mean, without all these guys, all my teammates, there's like 10 of us. Without them, I wouldn't be here.
All right, congratulations, CJ, on your third place finish. That was CJ LeVere. He finished third here tonight at the Iowa Speedway. Andy, I believe you've caught up with a guy who really wanted this thing to stay green. He finished his second here tonight. That's Anthony DeBarro.
Yeah, I have caught up with the second place finisher here tonight, the number 9 of Anthony DeBarro. And Anthony, we're starting a petition to iRacing to get green, white, checkered flags. I mean, you just needed it to stay green there at the end. Obviously had the fastest truck there at the end with the fresh tires. You decided to come in and pit and take your chances restarting back outside the top 10. And it paid off for you with the second place finish. But, man, so close to get that win.
Yeah, it's been quite a while since I've actually talked to you guys, so I'm kind of glad to get a top 3 here. But we had a great truck. I butchered qualifying. I felt like I had a really good shot at the pole, and I had to start from the back, and I passed a bunch of trucks tonight, and I had a lot of fun, so it was a good run for us.
Yeah, we talk about it this winter series between the Icebreaker and the Outlaw Truck Series has not been a Boomtown Sim friendly series over the course of this winter, and it started Monday night though with Mitch Rollo coming to victory lane, and now you were able to get a second place finish here tonight. So maybe you guys have found what you needed, just maybe a little too late for a season championship.
Yeah, the ultimate goal is the Full Throttle Cup Series, though. We're getting ready for that, and we just gotta minimize our mistakes. And I mean, you get caught up in other people's stuff. That's what happens a lot, but you just got to minimize your mistakes and be there at the end with all the fenders on it.
Yeah, you were able to do that, obviously, over the course of this race. And you started in the back, chose not to qualify, but you were able to work your way up from 25th all the way to second. Obviously, it takes a bunch to get it done. Sponsor shout-outs. Who helps the 9 get to where you are here, second place?
Well, I'd like to shout out to Boomtown Sim. Everyone should go like them on Facebook and check us out on Twitter. Give us a follow, and you guys up at the booth do a great job. Thank you for what you do, and I'd like to give a shout out to RSR. They without them, obviously this wouldn't be possible.
Well, a fantastic run to end the week here for you, and congratulate you again on the second place finish, and we'll be sending that petition out to get your autograph on it.
I'll be the first one to sign it.
There you go. Second place finisher here tonight at Iowa, Anthony DeBarro. And we'll throw it down now to victory lane where I think there's a pretty excited rookie driver down there getting ready to talk to Jacob.
Well, I don't know that we can completely call him a rookie, but he certainly has taken RSR by siege during these winter months. Daniel Eberhardt, after, I don't want to call it a sluggish start to the season, but maybe bad luck, 2 wins in the last 2 races, and you are now second in points, just 4 behind Chad Cole. Let's talk about tonight, though, first, because you took the lead at lap 80, led the final 46 en route to victory lane with about, 5 cautions and restarts to deal with. How nerve-wracking was it, especially knowing on that last one that DeBarro and CJ had tires behind you?
I was just praying Mike Kelly would hold them guys back just enough to burn up their tires and make them overdrive it a little bit, so when they got to me, I would have at least a little bit of grip left in mine to hold in there with them. But I knew with that last caution, I just knew Anthony was going to be lining up right beside me, so I tried to get a good start. I got through the gears pretty good, and then, man, I wish it would have went green, to be honest with you. A win's a win. I take them how I get them, but I'm really, really happy right now. This is awesome.
I know it was a very fun race tonight. You were mixing it up a bunch in the second half of this one. How tough was it to pass out there? It just looked like, from our vantage point, everybody could get alongside, and you were one of the few that really could break free from people all night long.
I don't really know how I passed. Matt was on older tires, and when I got around him, it was like a power move. I didn't expect it, and I just drove up off the corner, and he gave it to me going into 3 and 4 because I had about a nose on him going into 3 and 4. And like I told you tonight, man, I thought the slide job was going to have to come in there. And yeah, I was watching Anthony in my rear view sometimes, trying to keep an eye on him, and he looked like he was, kind of slide jobbing him, driving it way deep off into the corner and making it stick somehow and going up in front of him. So I knew it was going to take that to get up towards the front. That's why I never pitted.
I know it's a big night, big win with 2 wins in the first 4 races in this truck series. You're batting 500. How confident are you that you can go after this championship now?
You know how tough the competition is. You've been here longer announcing for these guys than I've been here in my whole career, but man, it's going to be hard to beat Chad and a bunch of them guys up at the top of the board. I just try to keep the points out of it and go for wins.
You're going for wins. You got 2 of them in the last 2 races, and I know that's not possible by yourself, Daniel. Sponsor, shout-outs, friends, family. Who makes it happen for you in this 89 camp?
Well, to be honest with you, I'm going to take it all the way back to my No Bull Motorsports days. Andy, David, all them guys, man, they taught me a lot about attitude building and being try to make something of yourself out here, and just don't be a tool on the racetrack. And hanging around people like that is just, is a true blessing, hanging around them guys, and moving on to bigger and better things. And you learn from the people in your past, and I got to thank my grandma who sits in the other room, and then RSR for putting on this great league. To me, this is the premier fixed series league out there, and it's the funnest racing. And I also got to thank you guys, Jacob, all you guys, LSRTV. Y'all do a fantastic job.
It's been fun to watch, my friend, and fun to celebrate a second straight win with you. Definitely excited about it. We'll see you next week. Congratulations.
Thank you, guys.
That's it from Gatorade Victory Lane. Andy, we'll throw it to you back topside. Take a look at the final Ford Performance full field rundown tonight.
Yeah, coming home with a big win right here, and second in a row, like we just said. His third top 10 finish, top 5 finish in 4 races so far this season. Daniel Eberhardt picking up the big win there at Iowa. Anthony DeBarro, probably the truck to beat there at the end. He'll come home in that second spot. CJ LeVere, a good bounce back for him. He'll finish 3rd. Matt Lacrosse, a good run also for him, finishing 4th. Doug Roth started 12th. He came home in that 5th spot. Brian Harvey in the 66 will come home in the 6th spot. 7th goes to Scott Simley. Aaron Bennett will finish in that 8th spot. Mike Montesi comes home 9th. And rounding out the top 10 here tonight, the 54 of Tim Matthews.
Chad Cole's going to come home 11th after having his issues. He was battling for the race lead. He got a little loose off turn 4. He's going to rebound and finish 11th. TJ Kelly will finish 12th. Christopher J. Gore is going to finish 13th. Justin Michael will finish 14th, and he is the last truck that finished on the lead lap here tonight. Ross Cato did not have the night he was looking for. He's going to finish 15th, one lap down. Then behind him, Stefan Marinak finishes 16th. Mike Kelly finishes 17th. And Scott Bolster finishes 18th, J.R. Johnson finishes 19th, and Travis Burks finishes in the 20th position. All the drivers from 16th on back did not finish this race. They were out of the race.
Coming home in that 21st spot here tonight, the 72 of David Camara. 22nd goes to Jimmy North. Chad Coleman, who was the points leader coming into the night, he finishes in that 23rd spot. 24th goes to Cup Series champion Dwayne Vincent. Bobby Wetzel comes home 25th. 26th is to Corbin Hemstreet. Mark Bratcher comes home 27th. And rounding out the field tonight in the 73, Donovan Johns in the 28th spot.
That's a look at your final Ford Performance Full Field Rundown tonight, powered by Ford, an official partner of iRacing. Go further. And a look at the points as well here, now with 4 of 10 races complete. And how about the perennial champ? This is the only broadcast series he's never won the title in. Chad Cole moves to the top of the standings with 145 points. Tie for second, Daniel Eberhardt. Ross Cato just 4 markers behind. Chad Coleman, with his little bit of rough luck tonight, drops to 4th in the standings, and Scott Simley, the Daytona winner, moves into 5th in the championship. Anthony DeBarro's top 5 finish here tonight moves him inside the top 15 up to 13th, 31 markers back. And boy, I'm still trying to get my head back straight after this one. Andy, Brian, what a nutty race, but how much fun was it to watch these guys wail on each other, and it was all clean in these final laps. It was really incredible to watch.
Yeah, you got to look at probably about a 25, maybe 35 laps area we had there towards I would say in the last third of the race there, where the top 4 drivers, even after a restart, just were side by side, lap after lap after lap, and a guy would get the advantage but not be able to clear him. The outside lane would come back into effect, and just a amazing job by these guys, the guys running up front, and it was a great race, and it was I feel much needed. I think this truck series has just been fantastic. Looking at the points, I mean, we talked about Ross Cato, Jacob, at the beginning, and could he hang on to this? He finished 15th tonight, not the best finish, but he's only 4 points back. If he finished where he was running in the top 10, he'd be our points leader right now.
It's fun to think about, isn't it? And it's going to be fun
awesome
to watch this all shake out over the next couple of weeks. And Brian, glad to have you back in the booth for these trucks. You were with us during the earlier truck series back in the summer, and man, I think you said earlier tonight how much you've missed it. This is what you've been missing, my friend.
Oh man, yeah, I forgot just how exciting these races always are. I know when I did the Outlaw Trucks and the Asphalt Assault Series with you guys earlier back last summer, it was a blast week in and week out. These guys put on an amazing show, just like they do in the Full Throttle Cup Series. This is what makes RSR so incredible, and they didn't disappoint tonight. This was an incredible race. We saw hard racing, not just at the front, but even in the middle of the pack and towards the back of the pack. These guys were racing hard, lap after lap after lap for the entire race, and that's what makes this kind of racing so much fun to call. Yeah, we had a few cautions, but it wasn't nearly as bad as it could have been, and I'm so glad you guys let me come back into the broadcast booth with you tonight, and I hope I can come back again. This was a blast, and I always enjoy doing this with you guys.
And again, congratulations out tonight to the Diggin' Motorsports 89 team for Daniel Eberhardt. Gets it done, picks up his second straight RSR Outlaw Truck Series win here tonight at the Iowa Speedway. And we will return to the airwaves for LSRTV and Real Sim Racing coverage on Monday night when we get back at it for the RSR Icebreaker Series, the Xfinity cars. Check that. We are off next Monday. That's right. That's right. Andy just reminded me because it's the NCAA championship. Who cares about football anyways?
Hey.
Some guys will like that.
2 weeks we're at Daytona. Can we just skip football and race again?
Listen, there's plenty to coming up here on LSRTV. So if you're jonesing for racing, just tune in every single night from now until Saturday. So it's just an amazing thing. We even got double headers coming up this week too, with a couple new series starting up on our second channel on LSRTV too. So tune in for all that. I mean, there's just plenty of action. So we may be off next Monday for some football, Jacob, but there's still tons of action going on here, especially in the month of January.
I'll fix my math and say we will be back for RSR competition a week from tonight. Homestead, Miami for round number 5 of 10. That's always fun for the trucks. We know it's going to be an exciting show. 125 laps on tap there. We hope to see you then. Right now, though, for Brian, Andy, Laura Lawson, our executive producer, and, of course, John Abbott, Jimmy North, all the fine folks here at Real Sim Racing, I'm Jacob Seelman reminding you to keep it off the wall until we meet again. We'll see you next time right here on the web. Congratulations to Daniel Eberhardt, your winner tonight in Iowa. So long from the Hawkeye State.